Hi everyone, this video is part 6 of working with data. So let's see the learning objectives of today's lecture. The learning objectives of today's lecture are to understand the per package, understand the forgets package, and in the last we will see the string R package in tidyverse. So what is actually functional programming? A declarative programming approach known as functional programming uses functions to apply and compose programs. Instead of a series of imperative statements that change the running state of the program, it comprises function definitions, which are trees of expressions that map values to other values. Functions can be bound to names, supplied as arguments, and returned from other functions exactly like any other data type. This makes it possible to write programs in a declarative modular way that is composed of a simple functions. Functional programming has the following package in tidyverse. The package name is per. So what is a per package? Per adds to our functional programming toolkit by offering a comprehensive and unified collection of technical tools for working with functions and vectors. Per's functions enable us to eliminate several loops with a single line of code. As soon as you grasp the fundamental ideas, Per enables you to replace lots of for loops with more expressive and simple code. So the function which we will use in today's lecture is map function. So what is a map function? A map function with just one line of code can be used to replace multiple for loops which only serve to complicate the code and make it messy. The syntax is as follows. You just write down the map keyword and then pass the expression. So here are some points to consider about this map function. Per works with pipe, its first argument is the data frame. Per can accept different functions such as named and lambda. Per can accept both character and numeric vectors to extract by name and position. Now let's implement it in our studio. So first of all, I will say library, then I will root the package per. So I store this data frame after importing it in msleep variable. I say read.csv, and here I will pass the name of the file msleep.csv, and next I will say head msleep. So let's run it. All right, so you can see your data set here. So it's time to use the map function. First of all, I will say take this msleep data frame, and then I will use the pipe operator. Now let's say here I say map, and inside the map function, I say that create a summary of this msleep data frame. So you can see here that the name column consists of 83 observations, the class is character, the mode is character as well. Now here is the summary of numerical columns. You can see that the sleep total minimum value is 1.90, the mean value is 10.43, and the maximum value is 19.93 for the observations in a dataset. And just like that, you can see the values for other columns as well. You can also see the first quartile and the third quartile and the median value. Now, for instance, I say takes this msleep data frame, and inside this data frame, I say, first of all, split the data frame msleep by var, because I want to see a statistical summary according to the var. So I will use another pipe operator, and once again I say map, and here I will say generate a summary according to each of the var in my data frame. Oops, I wrote the operator wrong, so I had to use the dollar sign. Now let's run it. Alright, so you can see your output here. This is the war of Carney right here. And these are the values according to the war of Carney. You can see the values of sleep total, sleep RAM, sleep cycle, wane, brain weight, and body weight according to this war. Now you can see here that in herbivores, the mean brain weight is 0.62 and the mean body weight is 366.8 in herbivores. And similar to that, you can see the values associated with other wars as well. Now let's get back to slides. Data wrangling and transformation. So the two packages for data wrangling and transformation in TidyOS category are as below. First one is forcats. The second one is string R. To handle categorical variables, which are variables with a predetermined range of possible values and are already known, R uses factors. For dealing with categorical variables or factors, the TidyOS forcats package offers a number of helpful tools. Some functions that forcats provide include fact reorder, which is used for reordering a factor using a different variable. Next, we have fact infrec, which is used to reorder a factor using frequency values. Then we have fact relevel, which is used to reorder our vectors by hand. In the last, we have fact learn, which is used to convert a factor's frequent values to other. Now let's move to RStudio to do its implementation. Well, first of all, I will say library, and here I will import the package forcats. Let's run it. All right, now I will say head and sleep. All right, for instance, we create a factor of our column var, let's say var frac, and inside this variable, I say create a factor of my msleep data frames variable of var. All right, and then I say fct reorder. I use the function of reorder to reorder the values. First of all, I will pass the factor which is var fact, and inside this factor I say that reorder the values according to msleep data frames variable of body weight, and then I say that reorder the values in their minimum order. Now let's run it. All right, so you can see here that the values have been reordered. So let's move forward. I'm going to create a factor as a fact1, and then I say factor, and I pass some values such as a, b, and then again b, and c, and again c. So the value of a is 1, b appears 3 times, and c appears 2 times. So I'm going to use the function of fact infrec, and I'm going to pass here fact1. So it's going to reorder my values according to their frequencies. You can see here that b contains the most of the values, so it appeared on the first level. Now let's say I have another factor with the name of fact2. I say fact2 contains the factor values such as x, y, and z. And it also contains some levels such as z, x, and y. Now I use the function of fact relevel, and inside this function I pass fact2, and I say that relevel the fact2 with the values of x. So it's not going to say zxy, but it will say xyz. See, you could also do the same thing by saying put x after the second position. So obviously it has put x on the third position. Now let's move back to slides. Next we have string R package. Strings are a bit challenging components of R, but they do play a big role in many data preparation tasks. String R package in R plays a big role in cleaning and processing raw data into an easily understandable format, as it provides a cohesive set of functions that make working with string data as easy as possible. So with the string R package, you may carry out several string manipulation tasks such as strlen, which is used to check the length of a string. Now let's implement. Well, first of all, I have to import the library of string R. All right. And now let's say I have a string1, and inside the string, I have some values such as apple, banana, and mangoes. All right, let's run it. So first of all, let's use the function of strlen to find out the length of string1, which should be 577. Next, we have str_sub function, which is used to extract substrings from a character vector. So I will say str_sub, and here I say take the string 1. All right, so I will say start the value from 1 and take it through 3. So you can see the first 3 letters of each character string. All right, next we have str subset, which is used to extract the matching components from a string. I say str and subset, and I say take the string 1, and from inside the string 1, give me all of the string values that contains the values of n. All right. So you can see here that you have got bananas and mangoes because they contain n. However, apple does not have any n. That's why it was not displayed. Next, we have strlocate, which is used to give the position of the matched string. I will say str, and then I say locate, and I pass the string 1 as uu, and here I say that you can locate the value of n. All right, so you can see here that n was not found in the first string, and the third string, it was found on the third position. Next, we have strreplace, which is used to replace the matched character vector with the new text. So in order to use this function, I will say strreplace, and I will pass string 1 as usual, and I will say that if a is found in any of the string, then you can replace it with t. Let's run it. So you can see here that the small a has been replaced with t, but only one a was replaced with t. So in order to replace all of the a's, I will say str replace all. This time, all of the a's were replaced with t. Next, we have strsplit, which is used to split up a string into multiple pieces. So I can do it by saying strsplit. Let's do the splitting of the string 1. Well, I forgot to mention that how the string should be splitted. So it should be splitted by a comma. All right, now you can see here that your string has been splitted. Now let's move forward. Next we have strtrim function, which is used to trim the white spaces from a string. I will say strtrim, and here I will pass the string 1. And you can see here that the white spaces have been removed. Next we have str to lower function, which is used to convert the string into lowercase. Then we have str to upper, which is used to convert the string into uppercase. Let's implement. So first of all, I will say str to lower, and I will pass the string 1. So you can see here that all of your string has been converted into lowercase. But if you want to convert it into uppercase, then you can use the function of string to upper. Next we have str detect, which is used to detect if there is any match to the passed string. Let's do it. So I will say str detect and take the string 1 and detect if there is any n value inside the string. So there was no n in the first string, so that's why you're seeing false, but it was there in the next two strings, that's why you see true. In the last we have str count, which is used to count the number of patrons. So str count, all right, I will say string 1, and I will say count the n in my string. So the first string had no n, the second one had 3n, and the last one had 1n. Now let's get back to slides. So we have got a little homework for you. Your homework now is to use the map function from the per package, use the functions from forcats package, and in the last you will use the string or package functions to do string manipulation. You can access the dataset link by clicking here. Now this is the end of today's lecture. Good luck, see you next time.